couple of years ago, we did an entire episode dedicated to why French cars were by and large not sold in America. Well, as time has moved on, more and more information has come out. I'm honestly a little bit late to this party, so let's talk about it. What's up, everybody? My name is Nick Lanza, and if you're new around here, we do builds, reviews, and have candid conversations about cars. So if any of that sounds interesting enough to you, hit that sub button, hit the bell so you never miss an episode. Let's get into it. It has been almost 40 years since a French car was sold here. To address the elephant in the room, no, I am not counting Bugatti, because technically that's now built by Germans, but also it's not really a production car. Those are extremely high-end, very, very fast hypercars, and they are not your average Joe's Civic, Integra, etc. In other words, they're not a Renault R5, they're not a DS, they're not anything that's a lot more commonplace. You could just go to a showroom and just pick it up right there. But to get into the nitty-gritty, we had discussed about how French cars really suffered being sold here in the United States, and it was largely because they just tried to archetype a French car in the States instead of trying to emulate what the States needs and wants. After all, the country of France is the size of Texas. Obviously, I have a soft spot for things like the Renault R5 Turbo because that's one of my favorite cars of all time. That's a different story. That's not necessarily something that you would take on an incredibly long road trip, even though it does have the fuel economy to do like 900 miles to the tank. It's ridiculous. You should look it up. But to get back to the point, French cars have been making waves recently with some really cool and unique models from Peugeot, and now Citroën has their new DS line, and of course, Renault has reinvigorated the Alpine brand. With this rejuvenation and this societal presence that these cars now have, they're now trying to expand the Alpine brand into the United States. There's only one major caveat. You see, Renault is a part of Nissan and Mitsubishi, and Nissan technically owns a majority share of Renault. And as such, Nissan has been a huge roadblock for the company to make waves here in the United States. After all, several of the different vehicles sold as Nissans were actually just rebadged Renaults to begin with. So with Renault coming out with the new Alpine brand and this crazy nice relaunch of all electric vehicles designed in France, it made sense for them to go, you know what, let's try a new shake at it. After all, at least in the eyes of the news media, electric cars are the thing of the day, and so many companies are going in that direction, and now there's a better chance for a car of its caliber to be accepted by the general public. And especially considering when companies like Tesla are having serious QC issues and people are questioning whether or not they should even invest in them, this is a great opportunity for them to announce that they're going to be coming to the States with their brand new A110 lineup. Now, granted, this is years from now, 2027 in fact, and where I live, more than likely, we'll probably have a dealership. So we'll be able to go check that out in, season 15 or whatever that is. But the truth of the matter is that French cars are coming back to the United States, and it's got people buzzing. In fact, all of my sources are actually from like June and July of 2023. So yes, I am very late on making this video, but at the same time, I'd rather there be more information developing so that I can actually report something interesting, unique, and new. That said, having seen the new Alpine cars, I mean, look at these things. They are beautiful. They almost have a Porsche-like presence to them. They're very reminiscent of the old Dauphine models. I think these will sell really well because they look beautiful. There's a lot of quality in these builds, and at least from the outside looking in, this looks like a proper luxury car. Things like Rivian, they do well, but they don't sell great. They are cars that have a unique taste to them, and thus they're being sold to unique individuals. Then you have other cars like Lucid, who had a lot of hype, but couldn't deliver 100% of what they had promised. So I feel like giving themselves this much of a leeway before they come to the United States, Alpine is really setting themselves up for better success moving forward. The real question that remains is, will these cars keep up with the United States safety rating, or will they need to be modified, much like how the old Diablos were? The other question that I have to ask is, will this be the gateway for us to see stuff like Renault Meganes being sold in the United States? Because me personally, I'd be all for it. I think those cars are super cool, they look really nice, and by and large, it would actually scratch the itch for a lot of cars that we no longer see here, like the Focus RS. But with that said, what do you guys think? Do you think the Alpine brand can really be successful here in the United States? Do you think this car could be the gateway drug for us to finally get some other really cool, unique French cars sold here? Or do you think this is going to be another sales flop like it was back in the 80s? Let us know down in the comments down below. And without further ado, God bless y'all, and we'll see you guys on the next episode. Peace.